The fame doesn't mean anything to me. Me, I don't care, man. There are a lot of people that are famous, but their bank account red.
He's a different animal when I'm on the pitch.
When the early days of one's life is filled with days of selling sachet water, you might think that one will not result to anything big, but that was not the case for Victor Osimhen. I'm talking about the Nigerian professional footballer who plays as a striker for Super League club Galatasaray and the vice captain of the Nigeria national team. He is widely regarded as one of the best strikers in the world and is known for his explosive pace, physical strength, aerial ability, and clinical finishing. He didn't just move past selling sachet water, he made it big and now lives larger than what his childhood offered him. I would take you on Osimhen's journey from the humble days to the glory days. But before we get started, hit that like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Long before the world learned his name, long before European stadiums echoed with his goals, Victor James Osimhen was just a boy growing up in one of the toughest corners of Lagos. Born on December 29, 1998, he entered a world shaped by struggle and survival, a world that would forge him long before football ever lifted him. His childhood unfolded in Olusosun, a crowded settlement pressed against one of Africa's largest dump sites. Here, the air carried the constant smell of burning waste, and the skyline was a jagged silhouette of metal scraps and rising smoke. For many, this place offered little more than hardship. For Victor, it became the furnace that shaped his character. He was the youngest of 7 children, born to parents who fought every day to provide something resembling stability. His father, Patrick Osimhen, did all he could in the face of financial strain, while his mother, Christiana, held the family together until her untimely death tore a hole in their lives. Victor was still young, too young to fully grasp the weight of loss, but old enough to feel the sudden chill of a home forever changed. After his mother passed away, life tightened its grip. His father lost his job, and the reality of survival settled on the shoulders of Victor and his siblings. They became hustlers in the purest sense, selling sachet water, newspapers, and anything else that could bring in a few naira. Under the relentless Lagos sun, Victor weaved between cars, shouting for sales, learning quickly that life would not hand him anything for free. And yet, amid the smoke, noise, and chaos, something beautiful grew inside him: football. On dusty streets where goals were made of stones and dreams were made of imagination, Victor escaped. The ball at his feet became his freedom, his joy, and the one place where hardship could not follow him. Almost every day he played until the sky went dark, his hunger for the game overshadowing even the hunger in his stomach. He watched clips of Didier Drogba, the Ivorian superstar whose power and poise electrified Chelsea fans. Drogba became more than an idol. He became a path, a possibility. Victor studied everything about him, hoping one day he too could rise from African soil to conquer the world's greatest pitches. His talent, raw and radiant, didn't stay hidden for long. Coaches noticed the boy who ran with fire in his legs, who played every match as if everything depended on it, because for him, it did. This passion carried him to the Ultimate Strikers Academy, a Lagos institution that offered structure, coaching, and most importantly, a doorway to something bigger than Olusosun. There, Victor finally breathed air unclouded by burning refuse. He trained with purpose, surrounded by players who shared his dream. Every drill, every sprint, every touch of the ball felt like a step away from the life he was born into and toward the life he believed he could earn. His coaches saw it immediately: the resilience forged in hardship, the hunger shaped by loss, the fire ignited by survival. His early life was far from easy, marked by grief, poverty, and the harsh realities of Lagos street survival. But it built in him an unbreakable spirit. In the narrow alleys of Olusosun, amid smoke and scarcity, Victor learned to fight, to endure, and to believe. Those lessons would carry him from the dumpsters of Lagos to the grandest stages in world football. This is the beginning of Victor Osimhen's story, a boy shaped by struggle, driven by hope, and destined for greatness. A boy who looked at the world he was born into and refused to let it define the man he would become. By the time the world began to recognize Victor Osimhen as one of football's most explosive strikers, The foundation of his brilliance had already been forged through hardship, hunger, and an iron-willed desire to succeed. But his professional ascent, the chapter after his struggle-laden childhood, would unfold with the drama and intensity of a football epic. After making a name for himself in Nigeria's youth football, Osimhen's career ignited on the global stage in 2015 when he powered Nigeria to victory at the FIFA U17 World Cup, scoring an astonishing 10 goals in 7 matches, winning both the Golden Boot and the Silver Ball. It was a statement to the world. A star had arrived. With Europe watching closely, Osimhen signed a pre-contract with VfL Wolfsburg, officially joining the German club in January 2017. At just 18 years old, he stepped onto European soil with the weight of expectation on his rising shoulders. But Germany would test him. Injuries disrupted his rhythm, opportunities were scarce, and the young striker quickly learned that talent alone was not enough to survive in elite football. Yet Osimhen had never been a stranger to adversity. Every setback only sharpened his resolve. In 2018, Wolfsburg sent him on loan to Charleroi in Belgium, a move that would become the resurrection of his early European career. There he rediscovered his fire, scoring 19 goals across all competitions, reminding everyone why he had once been hailed as a prodigy. It was his rebirth, his turning point, the moment the world remembered the name Victor Osimhen. From Belgium, his rise accelerated. Charleroi triggered their option to buy him, and within months, his exploits attracted the attention of Lille, who signed him in 2019. France welcomed him with open arms. On his Ligue 1 debut for Lille, he scored twice, an explosive introduction that set the tone for an unforgettable season. By the end of the campaign, he had delivered 18 goals across all competitions, becoming the club's top scorer and one of Europe's most sought-after young forwards. And then came Napoli. In 2020, the Italian giants broke their transfer record to bring him to Serie A, paying up to 80 million euros, one of the highest fees ever for an African player. Osimhen arrived in Naples not as a gamble, but as a promise of goals, of power, of transformation. He delivered on every front. Across the seasons that followed, he became a nightmare for defenders. Fearless in the air, ruthless on the ground, and relentless in his pressing. But it was the 2022 to 2023 season that immortalized him. Osimhen led Napoli to their first Serie A title in 33 years, scoring 26 league goals, becoming the first African ever to win the Serie A Golden Boot. The city of Naples embraced him as their new hero, their new warrior, their new legend. His performances earned him the Serie A Best Striker Award and later the Serie A Footballer of the Year, cementing his status among the world's elite forwards. And when the 2023 Ballon d'Or rankings were announced, Victor Osimhen stood proudly in 8th place, becoming the first Nigerian ever to break into the top 10, a milestone that carried the pride of a nation. His professional journey, however, continued evolving. Ahead of the 2024-25 season, Osimhen moved on loan to Galatasaray, where he once again dominated the pitch, finishing as the league's top scorer and helping the Turkish giants secure a domestic double. His loan became a permanent move, marking a new chapter in the story of a striker who refused to be slowed by expectations. But Osimhen's greatness is not confined to club football. With the Nigerian national team, he became a talisman, debuting in 2017 and scoring goals with the same hunger that once drove him on the streets of Lagos. In 2023, he reached the pinnacle of African recognition, beating Mohamed Salah and Achraf Hakimi to win the CAF African Footballer of the Year, a moment that affirmed him as the continent's crown jewel. Victor Osimhen's professional life is more than a career. It is a saga of resilience, reinvention, and unstoppable ambition. A reminder that greatness isn't given, but earned, fought for, and built from the ground up. He definitely built something big. For Victor Osimhen, money was never just a number. It was a measure of distance. Distance between where he began and where he dreamed of going. From selling sachet water in Lagos traffic to becoming one of Africa's wealthiest footballers, his financial journey is a story woven through resilience, strategy, and an unshakable belief that he was destined for more. As Osimhen's football career ascended, so did the scale of his earnings. By 2025, his net worth was estimated between $25 million and $30 million, a figure built on the back of elite football contracts, endorsement deals, and a growing investment portfolio that reflected the mindset of a man determined to secure a future far beyond the pitch. His financial rise accelerated when Napoli signed him in 2020 for a monumental fee of 70 million euros, the highest ever paid for an African player at the time. It wasn't just a transfer, it was a statement. His contract, renewed in 2023, saw him earning around 10 million euros per year, excluding bonuses tied to goals, appearances, and silverware. With performance bonuses reaching as high as $2 million, Osimhen's yearly income became the kind that only the world's elite strikers could command. The next chapter in Turkey only amplified his wealth. During his spell with Galatasaray in the 2024-25 season, Osimhen earned a staggering 125,000 euros per week, translating to more than 6 million euros per year, a salary that reaffirmed his status as one of the highest-paid African athletes of his generation. But what truly separates Osimhen is not just how he earns, but how he multiplies. He has embraced the modern athlete's blueprint: diversify, invest, and grow. Central to his off-field earnings are his endorsement deals, which have become a powerful engine behind his rapid financial ascent. His long-term partnership with Nike positions him among the brand's most valuable African ambassadors. Commercial campaigns with Pepsi Nigeria bring his face to billboards and screens across the continent. In addition, major deals with Reckitt Nigeria's Dettol brand and multiple local sponsorships have boosted his annual endorsement earnings to $1 to $2 million, making him one of the most marketable sports personalities in Africa. Yet Osimhen's relationship with wealth extends deeper than endorsements and salaries. He has cultivated a growing investment portfolio that reflects vision rather than vanity. Real estate stands at the core of his long-term financial strategy. He owns multiple properties across Nigeria, especially in Lagos and Owerri, with one of his crown jewels being a luxurious mansion in Lekki, one of the most desirable and exclusive neighborhoods in Africa's biggest city. These properties are more than homes. They are assets designed to grow in value with time, anchoring his wealth in tangible foundations. Beyond real estate, reports highlight Osimhen's involvement in business ventures spanning sports and IT, signaling a strategic shift toward the entrepreneur he intends to become when his playing days are over. His financial team has positioned him to thrive both within and beyond football, a move befitting a player who understands the fragility of fame and the importance of smart wealth building. Still, the heartbeat of Osimhen's fortune remains intertwined with his performance on the pitch. Every goal he scores, every trophy he lifts, every milestone he passes continues to elevate both his legacy and his financial reach. His achievements with Napoli, especially leading the club to its first Serie A title in 33 years, not only etched his name into football history, but also amplified his market value, commercial appeal, and global bargaining power. Victor Osimhen's financial rise is more than a collection of numbers and contracts. It is the triumph of a young man who grew up with nothing but a dream and chose to turn that dream into a fortress. His earnings tell the story of excellence. His investments tell the story of foresight. Together, they tell the story of a man determined to rewrite what is possible for athletes from Africa. Let's get into his sick car collection. If Victor Osimhen's rise in football is a story of grit and destiny, then his car collection is the story of how a boy who once hawked water in Lagos traffic now commands the roads in machines built for kings. Every vehicle in his garage, gleaming beneath the lights, whispers the same truth. He earned this life with sweat, sacrifice, and unstoppable fire. His collection begins with a beast that mirrors his on-field explosiveness, the Lamborghini Urus, acquired in December 2024. Painted in a striking mint green finish, its sharp lines, sculpted bonnet, and massive 23-inch wheels turn streets into runways the moment he appears. Beneath its hood sleeps a 4.0-liter twin-turbo V8, unleashing 641 horsepower and rocketing from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in just 3.6 seconds. It is power wrapped in luxury, an SUV chosen by a man whose game has always been defined by both. But Osimhen doesn't just drive fast, he rides in elegance. In June 2025, he added a Rolls-Royce Cullinan 2025 model to his collection, a rolling palace valued at nearly 1.1 billion naira. Its Pantheon grille stands like the gate of a mansion on wheels, while inside, handcrafted leather, lamb's wool mats, and a starlight roof bathe the cabin in silence and luxury. The 6.75-liter twin-turbo V12 glides him forward with 563 horsepower, smooth, effortless, and majestic. For a man who once had nothing, this is not just a car, it is a symbol of triumph. Yet Osimhen's garage would not be complete without the unmistakable Mercedes AMG 63, the status symbol of athletes, moguls, and rulers of their craft. Osimhen has owned his since 2021, and its rugged, boxy silhouette carries the energy of a man who breaks barriers for fun. Priced around 140,000 euros, powered by a 4.0-liter twin-turbo V8 and roaring with an AMG growl that turns heads on any street, the G-Wagon is both brute force and prestige, just like the striker himself. For days when comfort outranks speed, Osimhen steps into a different kind of luxury. His collection includes high-end vans, stealthy black machines with plush interiors, tinted windows, and lounge-style seating. Their identity blends practicality with VIP comfort, perfect for travel, privacy, and quiet moments away from the cameras. Their interiors reflect the softer edges of his personality, focused, private, and grounded. And then there are the elegant yet powerful Mercedes-Benz models. The GLE Coupe, sleek and athletic, and the Mercedes V-Class, built for convenience and group travel. These cars complete a collection that balances the thrill of speed with the demands of a global superstar's lifestyle. Each vehicle tells a different story, but all of them speak of a man who has mastered the art of moving forward. These machines, fast, luxurious, bold, are not the core of who Victor Osimhen is, but they are symbols of the distance he has traveled. From the crowded streets of Lagos to the bright boulevards of Europe, his journey can be traced not just in goals, but in engines, horsepower, and the hum of success. Every time he turns a key, he reminds the world, he did not inherit greatness, he drove toward it. Off the pitch, Victor has always remained grounded in the values that shaped him: faith, loyalty, and gratitude. He is a devout Christian, often speaking about how prayer and belief carried him through the darkest periods of his life. His father, before his passing, once shared that although he wished Victor would choose a career in law, he was proud that his son used his God-given talent to elevate their family name in ways he once only prayed for. As fame found him, love did too. In recent years, Victor built a quiet, private life with Stephanie Kim Ladevig, his partner of German descent. Together, they have embraced a life far calmer than the roaring stadiums where he performs. Stephanie is often seen supporting him with understated warmth, embodying the stability and peace Victor has always sought off the pitch. Their relationship is a reminder that even global stars need a place to rest, to smile, to simply be human. He has stated that he has drawn inspiration from Sadio Mane, who helps his community in Senegal, and has said he wants to help disabled people throughout Africa. Despite the wealth, despite the fame, despite the accolades, Victor frequently returns to his roots. His story is carried not in the cars he drives or the contracts he signs, but in the memories of a boy sprinting barefoot through the dusty grounds of Lagos, dreaming of a life beyond survival. The man he has become honors that boy every day, with humility, with generosity, and with a heart that never forgets where it came from. Behind every goal, every celebration, every roar of the crowd, there is Victor Osimhen, the son who rose from loss, the brother who refused to quit, the partner who loves quietly, the man built not by fame, but by fire. Victor Osimhen's life reminds us that it doesn't matter where you start, it matters how fiercely you rise. He rose through poverty. He rose through pain. He rose through doubt. And today, he rises as one of Africa's greatest symbols of hope and possibility. So wherever you are watching from, if you have a dream that feels too far, if your circumstances feel too heavy, if the world doubts you before you even begin, remember Victor. Remember the boy from Olusosun who refused to let the world decide his destiny, because your story, just like his, is still being written. And greatness may be just one step beyond your struggle. Drop a like, drop a comment, and I hope to see you in the next video.